what's going on, beautiful people? Chef D, nutrition and wellness guy here. Welcome to my podcast, episode 13, Menopause Health. Now, this is somewhat of a taboo because you got a brother talking about menopause health, but I believe this is what it should be more about. We all need to talk more about it. And if you've been following us this week, we drop content on my social media platforms. If you're on YouTube, you can check out Nutrition and Wellness Guy. My channel has content we dropped this week on menopause health. And also some of the other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. Just look for Nutrition and Wellness Guy and it'll be there. But this particular episode, I wanted to recap on some of that information and also some functions of menopause health. Again, as I shared early throughout the week, menopause is not a decline, it's a transformation. So, I want to talk about in this particular episode some functions surrounded by menopause or menopause health, some things that, may disrupt it. I also want to talk about 3 red flags uh, in menopause health that your menopause may be struggling or that things may be off balance. I want to talk about 3 micro habits that you can do today to support menopausal health. And also want to talk about 3 superfoods or top 3 foods that support menopause health. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I am a nutritionist. I'm a certified personal trainer and a behavior change specialist. I come on here as your healthyish coach to talk about strategy and pull the cover off on things that we're not talking enough about. And this is one of those ones. When we talk about menopausal health, it's just females talking to females about female health. And I believe as a brother, as a man, that it's also supportive for that community that we're also having that conversation so we could support our queens and our princesses and those who are in their menopausal transformation. We're better equipped. We have a better idea. And join us tomorrow, as you all know, with the new podcast direction we went. We dropped 2 podcast episodes a week now, so we break them up. So I'm doing my podcast now with you all about menopausal health. And then on Fridays, we drop a podcast platform called Coach's Corner. So I sit down with an enthusiast, an activist, an advocate, a doctor, a medical professional, someone who may be around that topic of menopausal health. And we have an amazing guest on Coach's Corner for tomorrow's episode. And I'm excited about that, where we can go deeper. We could start talking a little bit more about grace, and we could talk about empathy and understanding and better support. And we could take that taboo out of menopausal health. So in this particular episode, we will be talking about those flags, those micro habits, those top foods. And also, we will talk about some of the functions of menopausal health. So, for starters, when it comes to menopause and the key functions that are affected by menopause, so estrogen and progesterone decline. And y'all know, you put a big word in my mouth, I'm gonna chop it up medically sometimes. But it's progesterone or progesterone. You can look it up, Progeesteron. But estrogen and progesterone, y'all pray for me. Decline. I don't know how to say it, but I know what it is. Decline affects metabolism, brain health, sleep, and bone strength. So this is a biomarker that you do want to look into, and we're going to talk on Coach's Corner a little bit more about it. But this is definitely some things in the body as far as hormone production, regulation, and imbalances that can affect menopause. Another thing is menopause does impact your cardiovascular risk, insulin sensitivity, and emotional health. So sometimes these things are outside of the control based on things transforming and things changing internally, that there's no real control. There is support, and that's what we want to talk about. What are habits and what are lifestyle changes and what are foods that we can support during this transformation to reduce the risk and to limit the symptoms. So that way, our body is being supported during this transition. The nervous system. Another thing is the nervous system and adrenal glands. If you were there week 8 or podcast episode 8, we talked with Dr. Dawson about adrenal health. So the nervous system and adrenal glands become more important for hormone balance and post menopause. So this is pretty much highlighting the fact that our hormone balance is very important. So the foods we eat, being intentional on how we exercise and work out, our stress and emotion management, our sleep, our gut health. All of these things are now more important. They've always been important, but they're even more important because your body's in a transformation and we want to support it during that transformation because there's going to be some things just outside of control because the body is doing what the body does. Everyone's experience is a little bit different. However, we just want to talk about strategy and some fundamental principles that we can have a better understanding, men and women, when it comes to the menopause transformation. Also, diet. We talked just a little bit about this. Diet, movement, and stress management are essential for adapting and thriving. So, what this is saying is that having the community around you to support you through this for whoever's going through menopause or perimenopausal or getting ready. You're young and you hear, and that becomes a scary time because we don't talk about it. What we do sometimes that is not proper, we may attach certain stereotypes around it, and we don't really talk because it's so taboo. I can't remember my grandma, mom sitting down with me or aunts telling me about menopausal health or what happens to the body when that's happening, how emotions show up, pains and just what happens in a woman's body. Sometimes we just don't know. We don't talk about it and it's dismissed. It's almost like when it comes to periods or cycles, it's not a conversation we have, men and women, women and men. We're not talking about it enough, in my opinion, and it becomes taboo. So when it comes to menopausal health, I'm so excited about Coach's Corner because with my guests, we really unpack. And I'm so grateful that we got to open up Pandora's box because there's so much I didn't know, I wanted to know. And it's not just hey, I'm going through my menopause. I got hot flashes. I'm always angry. I'm always hungry. I need crunchy stuff. I need salty stuff. I need sweet stuff. Get out of my way. No, it's not always that stereotype attached to it. What's happening is that the body's transforming and we are trying to find ways to support it while it's transforming. We don't want to buy into the gimmicks and the propaganda that's out there. There's all types of products and all this other stuff that usually you get confused because they're just marketing to you. But what we want to do, as you guys all know, with the healthyish community and family, we're not marketing here. We're talking about what it is, and then we provide strategy so that way you can meet with your professionals, not just your general provider or your general doctor or general practitioner, but you can deal with the community of providers and get to the bottom of what it looks like for better menopausal health during that transformation. Now, three red flags for menopause. Three red flags your menopause might be affecting your health. Weight gain around the midsection. So this is, again, we talked about this during the episode I dropped on Monday about red flags for menopausal health. But again, this is just saying that around that area, when it's just an accumulation of weight gain, stored lipids, stored fat, that could be an indication that menopause may be affecting your health. Sometimes we think it's just food and diet, but even some clients who are like, hey, I'm eating clean, I'm working out, but I'm still this stubborn fat around or the stubborn weight around my waist. I can't seem to do anything about it. They consider surgery and a few other things, which I'm not against. But what's end up happening, I feel like you should still have a better understanding, not just aesthetic part, but what's going on internally. So check with your doctor, your provider, or your specialist if you're noticing an unreasonable amount of weight gain around your midsection. Flag number 2, mood changes, anxiety, and brain fog. So as this transformation is taking place, menopause is affecting your health because the body is transforming. Again, these are red flags that your menopause may be affecting your health. But again, I want to be clear that I'm not saying these red flags are wrong. These are not things that I'm saying that should not be happening. You should be having a menopause journey without these things. No, I'm just saying that what could be contributing, so that way you're not tripping and confused, what could be contributing to these things may be your menopausal transformation. So that's why we talk about these red flags. So you could talk with your provider or your specialist about them if they are happening and you don't accredit it to some other part of your lifestyle. Flag number 3, night sweats or poor sleep quality. This is another red flag. Your menopause might be affecting your health, and you might be starting to get into menopausal season or that chapter of your life. And these are things, again, you want to bring up with your professional. Again, we're not here to treat, diagnose, or cure. We're just here to bring awareness. Now, 3 micro habits to support menopausal health. Micro habit number 1, 10 minutes of movement in the morning. Now, you heard me say this before. It's good that we can rinse, wash, and repeat certain habits. And by doing one thing, it's such a great feeling to know it's helping a few other things. So by me getting up in the morning and having 10 minutes of intentional movement, whether it's a quick body movement routine, a quick little hit class like on YouTube, 5 to 10 minutes, now you can attribute that to supporting menopausal health because it's movement, it's activity, it's intentionality. When you're going through your menopausal journey, one of the things that you don't want to stop doing or dismiss is movement, is fitness, is exercise, because this supports the menopausal journey. Number 2, micro habit: 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds daily has been known to support hormonal balance during menopause and also with weight and energy and mood. Again, these are reported as evidence based and science based. There's always still studies out there to make these a stronger claim. So I'm not saying like emphatically, like, hey, listen, if you take 1 tablespoon of flaxseed every day, you will not have any menopausal symptoms. You want to go through menopause. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that these are micro habits that you can start adding if you weren't adding to help with symptoms, to help with the journey, to help with the transformation. That's what this is about. And number 3, when it comes to micro habits to support menopause, nervous system reset before bed. You hear this again: breath work, meditation, journaling, prayer, whatever it takes to calm down the cortisol, whatever it takes to get your body into a relaxation state so you can have a better sleep health, is also going to support your menopausal health. So that way you're not waking up wired or imbalanced or in a different zone because of the lack of support. You didn't set yourself up for success the night before. Now, if we had to talk about top 3 foods, mind you, there's so many different foods out there, superfoods that support menopausal health during menopause or as you're getting into menopause or peripausal. It's foods out there. But these are the top 3 as a flexitarian that I'm suggesting or recommending because of what worked or what science is saying is working. Again, still check with your doctor, still check with your specialist. So, my top 3: sweet potatoes, wild salmon, and leafy greens. So, sweet potatoes, again, one of my favorite, filled with the fibers, the carbs, the phytonutrients, and the stabilizers. It's been known to stabilize hormones. Number 2, wild salmon. Now, they have all types of salmon in the supermarket. Stick within your budget, obviously. But if you can afford and you are willing to invest in wild caught salmon, that's the kind of fish that we're talking about now as a top 3 food because of the omega 3s for inflammation and for mood balance regulation. And last but not least, leafy greens or bitter greens. Minerals in these leafy greens do support bones, heart, and it helps with natural detoxification. So these are my top 3. You have your top 3. If you know some other foods or micro habits or even some red flags that showed up, you maybe your provider told you about it or your specialist told you about it, please share it with our healthish community. That's what our comment section is for. If you're listening to this and watching this on YouTube, again, that's what our comment section is for. It's for all of us to be enlightened. And if you're listening to this on Spotify iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts. Again, check out there in the description. I always put my email address in there and my social media handles so you can direct message me or email me if you have a question. Or I love feedback. I love suggestions. Maybe I didn't say something that you thought helped you. I would love to know, especially since I haven't went through menopause. I don't plan to go through menopause. That's not how my body is set up. I do coach clients who are going through it and will go through it. And the more I know, the better I am to serve you guys. And then I can bring that information to our community. But again, thank you for joining me on another episode. This is Fertility Health, episode 13. Remember, health is wealth. And I'm just here to make sure you're getting paid. Until next time, yum on. That's what I said at the end. Did I say any other time? Okay.